Hello everyone, and this is my promised update, and also apologies again for it taking so long. I definitely meant to do one, I meant to do a couple by now. But anyway, so since we got at Shepherd, everything's been great. Sam is making awesome strides every day. Just across the board, like, slow in some days are big days, other days are just small gains, but it's gains every day. And so much has happened. Let's see, he's done the Loco mat, which is like this, it's like this harness with like these kind of robo legs, and it's kind of like he's an HEAT wire, like, except much smoother and cooler than that. But it's like on a treadmill, so not like the exoskeleton like Iron Man pants yet or anything. But he's done that. He's done, from the ceiling sling, walking in that, which they call it the 0G, which is much cooler than ceiling sling. He's done bikes with electrical stimulation. He's done vibrating plates that he stands on. Tools to strengthen his breath and control. He's played Uno. He's played cornhole. He speaks more frequently. He's definitely more present. Every little bit that they dial in on his medication, then we see huge improvements. A big part of that was he was on a one called amantadine, which does all sorts of different stuff. It doesn't, whatever, you can look into it if you're interested or anything anyway. But it's dopamine based. So we found out that he is incredibly sensitive to dopamine. So he was having very intense hallucinations, which was some of the things we were seeing previously, was because of that. So, that knocked everything, most of the medications that they give brain injured people or people with brain injuries or however, is like, they need to activate brain healing and activate the brain. These aren't things that they stay on their whole life. This is just during like the beginning, to help like balance chemicals and like get things going and stuff like that. But almost like a lot of those are dopamine based. So, all of those were immediately out because, we don't, you don't want hallucinations, not fun. So, they went a different route. They actually they reached out to people at Georgetown because, they, and places like they have all these amazing connections because these are amazing people and they work in these circles, again, why we wanted to come to Shepherd. So, they actually started using, things that are for, that treat like dementia and Parkinson's and different things, but still all kind of the same classification of drug or anything. So, that's something that, they added in earlier this week. Huge progress since we've added that in, because they pretty much just immediately cut the other one out, just a little bit, that they were giving just in the morning, just like bare minimum. But he needed more to get the healing, get the stimulation, get the muscle control, that kind of stuff that those drugs do. So he's making huge progress with that. So, what else? So much has happened, so much. I'm trying to just like hit highlights and stuff here. One big one is that he is no longer being fed through the feeding tube. He has, he went to level 1, which was like pureed. He's past that. He's on level 2 now, which is like soft food. He had zucchini and pesto chicken, with black beans, pudding. He's had, a lot of the stuff is like soft. Some of the meats are ground or shredded and things like that. But, other stuff is just like mixed greens. They're just mixed greens, He, scrambled eggs, all that kind of stuff. He's drinking liquid, like regular, like through a straw and stuff like that. We have to thicken it because thin liquid just moves a little bit too fast, so you got to work him up to that. But he's doing great on all of that. Just that's great, and that's huge. Like I don't know, like being able to eat, right? Nobody wants to be fed through a tube. So he's also, they as the food that he ate at mealtime went up, the tube feeding went down. This week they took it off completely at night, so he was just getting it for, at night during the certain period that they had up. They make sure that he's eating enough during the meals, that he's getting the calories that he needs. He is, and so they totally killed it, and everything's fine. They're not putting it back on, and hopefully, he's on track to get the tube removed. They have to leave it in for a certain amount of time just to make sure that he continues eating the way he is, because if he suddenly stops or regresses or anything like that, then they need to still have a way to feed him. So there's not a specific date on that end, but it's, the dietitian says we're on track for tube removal, so that's amazing. That's the only thing that's still in there, you know what I mean? So from going from when he had so many things just in him and all over him and nose and all that, so just, that's it. That's the last of it, of being, in his body. So anyway, so all of that's great. He's, occupational therapy. He's doing, relearning how to eat, bathe, all that kind of stuff, doing great on it. Yeah. Doing great on walking, on standing, things like that. I mean, there's problems, of course it's not like that, you come here a couple weeks and everything's going to be fixed, but it's a long road, but he's doing great, really great. Today in particular, we saw some amazing things, and last night and today, eating, I was supporting his elbow a little bit, but he's, bringing the fork and spoon to his mouth. They're like special utensils, until he gets his full grip back, but, getting that movement back, because, now, gets this down, he doesn't have to think about it. Then he can focus on gripping, so, in these little pieces every day, it's like putting the puzzle back together again, and he's really doing amazing work. It's awesome. They call it a medical conference, and we have our discharge date. I received it this week, and it's a little bit fluid, because we have to start planning for these things, but if he's killing it in therapy, then they'll keep him a week, or if he's learning another technique or something like that for something he already knows, like a transfer or something, then they'll keep him another week. So a little bit fluid, semi-firm, I guess, at this point. It won't be any earlier than that. But that's just being released from Shepherd, as in the acute inpatient, that means that they're getting all of his medication dialed in, all of that kind of stuff, like the intense stuff. Then there's other things still through Shepherd that we will be continuing to go on, because we want to keep him with these people with Shepherd as long as we possibly can, for as much rehab as we can. So, it could be going to their through their day program, doing outpatient with them. It all kind of, that again, when you think of how much progress can be made in a week of therapy, then there's no way that you can plan out, like a month from now or whatever, which is, it's about a month is our discharge date. I think it's like November 19th. So once we get closer to that, then we'll look into different options, which is great, because when they first told me the date, I was like, oh, what? I was like, we're not ready. We want to stay here. We want to stay, but it was already more than, they say like 4 to 6 weeks is what they kind of assume, like the average stay is and everything. So we're already getting more, but just still like knowing that there's other options for us, and other options for him to continue making the amazing, awesome progress that he's making here. So he's still not talking all the way. He's definitely like mouthing words, stuff like that, and phrases and everything. You get to hear him, sometimes you can hear lots, whole words and whole phrases. He's working on it. A lot of it is just, again, breath control, things like that, getting, when your brain is trying to relearn everything, then, it takes time. Again, just everything takes time. So, today, like I asked him when I first saw him in the morning, he was dressed, and he was still in bed, but he was dressed and ready to go to breakfast. We were about to go, and I asked him how he was, and he said, I want water, you know? So I went and got him some water, and he drank some water, and it was great, you know? So, really awesome just across, you know, across the board. Like I said earlier, it's all of these tiny bits that are putting things back together. We have conversations, you know, I talk a lot. You know, he yeses and nos very well and consistently all the time. Like, that part of communication is great. So you ask him a yes or no question, you're going to be able to communicate with him, you know. But then sometimes on important stuff, then he takes the time, he really pushes. It takes effort on both of our parts, but he gets his point across, you know. And that's getting easier. Again, every day, everything is just a little bit. And the thing is, with something like this, there can be progress made and then regression, and then more progress and regression, and more and this and that. So, you know, it's all, a lot of it is a waiting game. A lot of it is a lot of time, you know. You know, cognitively, he's present. He's there. He understands. Like, he, you know, things like when we came here, he didn't know that he had a brain injury, you know. He knows now, and he, like, when you ask him, you know, why are you here, then, you know, he will either say it or mouth it, or, you know, occasionally you need to give him options, like, is it this or that, you know, this or this, and he'll, you know, he'll tell you, you know, consistently, so he does know and understand, and you know, so that's great. You know, like I was saying with the physical theory, there's going to be problems, you know, that what they are, we don't know yet, because it's still too early in the healing process, too early in the therapy process to really be able to tell that. But they are all, everyone here is incredibly happy. They think he's on track. You know, some stuff too is you know, things that you learn a ton of stuff while you're here. And you know, he's learning a lot. I'm learning a lot too. There's things your brain just does to protect itself. You know, like, if it's not ready to deal with something, then it just won't acknowledge it, you know, or if it needs to be focused on all of this other stuff, then it will just put some other things on hold, you know, or just be like, nah, you know, I'm not gonna do that today. Not because I'm gonna be over here. I'm gonna be over here doing this work, you know, so that's just gonna hang out and we're not gonna worry about it for a while, you know. Or things too, like they say there's a thing that a lot of brain injury patients do that's called confabulation. It might come across as like lying or something like that, or being wrong, but it's really not. They're not doing it on purpose, so that's why it's a different term and different thing that they do. It's basically like the brain doesn't like having holes in memories or thought process and stuff like that, so it fills things in. You know, the example they gave is that there's a patient here who has been here a little while. If you ask him, you know, where during the weekend, where he was during the week, he says camp. It's not, you know, and he's an adult male, like, he hasn't been at camp, you know, but he hasn't gotten to the point where he understands that he's at a hospital yet, so his brain doesn't want there to be a hole in that knowledge, so it fills it in for him, you know, so he's not lying, and he's not really wrong. I mean, he wasn't at camp, but it's not like he's making a choice to be wrong or anything like that. Like Sam not knowing that he had a brain injury when he came here, eventually this fellow, they are confident, will understand that he's at a hospital and what's going on, and that he's not at camp, you know. So so things like that, just little things that are big things, like when you're here, you know. It's great. I've been going to, you know, all the classes that they offer. They also have 2 family support groups a week, one that's like Topic Tuesdays, and then the other one that's more of just like open forum. So I go to those, you know. It's nice to meet people and talk to them, you know, because like when we're in therapy or when we're in the hallways, you know, you see people and you smile and you say, hey, how are you, you know, but everyone's focused on who they're here with their patient, as we say, like, who's your patient, or who, you know, who's your one, you know, and, you know, so you're focused there because you're there, and everyone's very nice and everything, like, but in the groups, then you actually get to talk, you get to see what everyone is going through, what's happened, where they're at, and hopefully, help each other out a little bit. The topic Tuesdays, are, part of it is going around introducing ourselves, and then part of it is, they'll like one day was setting healthy boundaries, and then another day was resources for after discharge. So stuff like this that's just awesome, and it also it's I mean, support groups are good. Like, you should go to them, like, if you need to. I know, like, I don't I was like, I figured I would go because why not, and they're nice. It's nice to know all of it, and know that, like, you're not alone, and all the things that you're feeling and going through. And everybody, they said, it was one of the first groups that I went to. They said, because they say, every brain injury is different because every brain is different. So they said that, we're all in the same ocean, just in different boats. So we kind of know what everybody's going through, but not quite, but it's still nice. You hear amazing stories, like a lot of just like, holy crap, like freak accidents, random, if one person hadn't been in the right place at the right time, this person wouldn't have survived, or how did they, or, just holy crap, and it's awesome because, like, you see such strength and like, in the people, that are here with the patient. Like, you see it in the patients, of course. Like, you see these people fighting and working every minute that they're here. And you see, like, the love and strength and support and all of that the caregiver is giving to the patient and everything. But behind all that, then there's just that, like, such that raw, like, pain and like, everyone's kind of lost. We're not, we all know we're in the right place, but there's still, like, that just, what what, like, how did we get here, what, because your entire life has changed so quickly. So that's nice, to see it. I guess it's nice. I mean, I wish none of us were going through it, but like I said, it's nice, like, to know that what you're feeling isn't, we're not unicorns over here, like, there's tons of people out there feeling the same thing, and that's too, like, the groups are nice because when you see each other in the hall, you're smiling, you're the patient, you're being the cheerleader, you're putting on, and not like putting on a happy face or anything, because we all are, like, happy because everyone, makes progress. Even if they regress, then there's progress made. So everyone's always happy. There's always something every single day to be happy about here, and in general, but specifically I'm saying, like, with the Shepherd Center and with what the other families and people are going through. And it's not like we're hiding the other side of it. It's just like, when, that's our job, is to be cheerleader, is to be the support, to be the, you can do it, to celebrate every single little thing because they're worth celebrating, but then in group, then you get to see that all the things that you just kind of like, I'll deal with you later, emotions or anything or whatever, is, you see it there, like, out in the open, in therapy and everything. Like, you make eye contact and you can see it in there, you can see it, but you can also see how it's, like, just in that little box or in that little room or contained or whatever. In group, then you kind of get to actually look at it, you get to take it out of the box or out of the room, and you get to show it off to everyone and be like, yes, we all have this, and it helps, and it makes you not feel as alone, and it's also beautiful just to, like, just that raw emotion and, being there for each other, and crying, you know, we're trying not to cry, because there's a lot of meetings where we do that too, where we're like, we're not going to cry today. You know, it's fine if you want to cry, but I'm not going to cry today because I cried in the last one, and I'm not going to cry. And it's fine to cry, but I don't want to cry in this one. You know, like, I want to be, you know, whatever. It's all great. Anyway, it's awesome. So those are great. We have the brain injury education, things for outside. There's all sorts of things that you learn about insurance and equipment and things that you just learn how to do, you know. I know how to put on a condom catheter. Like, I'm actually really good at it. It's pretty cool, you know. I'm kind of like, oh, you know, when, like, one of Sam's techs, like, nurse techs told me that I was really good at it, and mine stayed on a really long time and all of that, and I was like, it's like, yeah, that's right. Like, I'm kicking it, you know, like, I'm awesome. And, like, different therapy things and how to, you know, because there's rest times and everything, but you know, we're constantly pushing too. Like, when they're just because they have this many set hours of therapy scheduled with them, that doesn't mean, like, you know, you make sure with your therapy team and everything that what you're doing isn't pushing them too hard or overworking them. You know, some days Sam has 5 hours of therapy scheduled, 3 of those are physical therapy. You know, on those days, then I'm probably not going to work with him on anything, or maybe, like, we'll work on vocalizing or something that he can be, like, laying in bed or just hanging out in the chair, you know, stuff like that. But other days when it's 3 hours, you know, then all right, let's add some other stuff in. Let's be working on this stuff. Let's get it done. You know, Sunday is a rest day, but you know, today you can make anything therapy. You know, eating meals is therapy. Like, working on him with the silverware and then that's therapy. And then playing Uno. You know, it's a altered version of the game, you know, like, we take out, like, the skip and reverse and the draw 4 and stuff like that, but, you know, that's therapy. You're matching colors, you're looking at numbers, you're working on strategy, and because you want to win, you know, you're picking up cards, working on grips. Like, when you break everything down that you do in life, anything can turn into therapy, you know. And so we do a lot of stuff like that, a lot of just, you know, so not too much. You know, again, Sunday is a rest day, so we played Uno, and we did, we took the footrest off of his wheelchair and did some where he's, like, moving the wheelchair with his feet, you know, with that, like, working on his rhythm, which will help when he's walking, all that kind of stuff. So, lots of things, you know, so that's it. So when you think about it, then, you know, we played a game, we did some feet movement and stuff, which I think that took I think we did like 30 minutes of that. Uno was like, I don't know, 45 minutes, you know, since an hour and 15 minutes. Then you add in the mealtime, you know, you still got a good chunk of therapy in there. And then plenty of time, naps, relaxing, just hanging out, talking, you know, being in the room together and all that kind of stuff like that, you know, just relaxing and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's great. We're working hard. Sam's, of course, amazing. Everyone loves him. He's great. It's awesome. The future is a little uncertain, of course, like any future is, you know, where we're going to go after discharge. Like I said, that kind of depends on the progress that's being made up to there. But, you know, like little things, like we have the seating clinic for, not this week, but next week, for his wheelchair. You know, and it could be, you know, like just the choices that his therapy team is suggesting, you know, like they suggest that you know, he gets one where the wheels can eventually be moved forward so he can push himself. You know, like his grip isn't strong right now, but they think that is going to be a point, you know, like later on down the line that he will be able to do that, you know, like we're going to keep working, that he's going to be able to do that, you know. And the thing is, like, it's not that them saying that we're getting this wheelchair means that he will be in it forever, you know. Doesn't mean that it's not, you know, but you have to start planning this stuff. And even if he gets to the point where he's walking and everything and all of that, then there will still be a period of time where he is not able to walk all day, and he will need the chair to manage his fatigue and to continue building up like the endurance and everything to do that. A lot of stuff like you don't think about doing, and you're like, wow, you know, like, how do you hold a fork? I don't know. And like when you start trying to think about it, then you're like, is this even how I do it? Like, really? So, and how, like, and not like how is a fork held, like you can look that up online, Google, right? But it's like, how do I do it? Like, do I hold my fork like that? Because I'm doing it like the picture says, and I'm like, I don't think that I hold my fork like that, I know I hold my pencil differently. So it's like things like that, like, I'm trying to remember. I'm like, do I have any pictures of Sam just with a fork in his hand? Like, can I go through all the pictures of the past, like, or like almost 9 years of our life and find a random picture where you were holding a fork, so I know how you hold your fork, like, I don't know. Things you don't notice, so there's all sorts of stuff like that. But everything's been great here. People are awesome. The doctors explain things where you understand. When you have questions, they take their time, like they don't, they're always on the go, but like if you need to talk to them or if you want to talk to them, then they're there. They want to know. They're same with the nurses and the techs and all that kind of stuff. The therapy team, like, they explain things to me so well, and like not, they never make me feel dumb or anything of the questions I'm asking. So it's all just great. And then, in the heart of all of this wonderfulness is just Sam just being great and making such amazing progress and just working his butt off. Being able to, like him answering his neuropsychologist on questions that I never had thought to ask him. But questions that really set some of my worries at ease a little bit, which again, this stuff can change because, everybody's questions can change. Like, in one of the ones they ask him, are you hopeful for your future? First time they ask, yes. Second time he's asked, no. Third time, yes, because you ask someone who hasn't had a brain injury that question, then you ask them that over a period of time, then their answer might change. Like, a lot of that is your mood. A lot of it is what's going on in your head. Did you have a bad day? On bad days, you're not as hopeful, but, the one that has been a consistent answer is, do you want to be alive? And he consistently says yes. And that's huge because, I mean, I don't have to explain that. Like, y'all get why it's huge. So anyway, I am gonna go. This is rather, we're nearing 30 minutes, so kind of long, kind of short. I'm gonna go. I want to eat some potato chips and an apple is what I want to do. And so thank you again to everyone who is helping out around my house and all of that kind of stuff. On that note, as things firm up here, then, I'll touch base with all of you guys. As temperature starts changing, if we're here until like the end of the year, then some things will have to start changing because, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll touch base with all of you guys because just like different plans for different seasons, right? So, but thank you to all of that. Oh, I have my housing at the Shepherd family housing is about to run up soon. I've mentioned that in one of the last videos. I have my next month housing set up. So hooray on that. Thank you, Caroline. Awesome. And so I'm looking good on that. And then, again, that'll, it's amazing how some of these things are just kind of like falling into place time-wise. That it's, I don't know, it's amazing. We're really excited. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of Sam. I can't believe, like, just what strength and, you know, everybody, like, they know he has a good work ethic and all this kind of stuff, but just what he's doing is, like I've always said, you know, he is not like anyone else on this planet, you know. I'm so proud of him. And he's accomplished so much, and he continues, and he's going to continue, and it's great. And all of this, too, is because of all of you guys, all of your support and love, and still, every time, I will say it, every time, prayers, thoughts, vibes, love, all of it has brought us here, keeps us going, you know, all of it. So, thank you. I will try to give updates more frequently. No promises, though. Sorry, I don't want to be honest, you know. But, you know, I love all of you. Thank you. I'll at least, like, post more pictures, you know, because we are allowed to take, like, pictures and stuff as long as other patients aren't in the frame. So, so I'll post pictures to the group and things like that. And just, you know, I love all of you guys. And thank you. And go Sam. He's flipping amazing. Bye. Love you guys.